I don't know if, oh good, Beth is up here, perfect, we have enough chairs. I need to get on this side. Good morning. Welcome to Family Talk. We're here this morning to chit-chat a little bit about Life Action Family Camp, Hidden Acres, where we send our kiddos out in Dayton, Iowa, and CIY, where currently Pastor Seth, they left pretty early. And how many students did they take for the junior high group? Five is a small group, and then what they take for the senior high? And Rhonda's with them as well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to take about 10 minutes per group. So this is our Life Action Camp group that's up here. And they're going to chit-chat a little bit. And if you have any questions, if you went to Life Action Camp this week, go ahead. I'm going to call on you, sorry. Just go ahead and stand up real fast. So if anybody has any questions, these are the people that you're asking. Or if you've been, go ahead and stand up so they know that they can come and talk to you. And there's some kids to talk to the kids too. And I think you have to, Crystal's going to talk about this a little bit, but you kind of have to sign up a little earlier. You can't wait to the last minute to do it. That's the same with Hidden Acres and stuff, and we're going to talk about that when we get to it. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to dive in on our panel. We have Karen Smith, Crystal Clark, Aaron Struble, Jackie Burns, and Beth Bounds. Let's go ahead and get started, Jackie. You're just going to share with us for a couple minutes, what is family camp and some of those details for people who maybe have never, ever heard of it. You have a mic there. Jackie's going to start us off.
So family camp is located in Buchanan, Michigan, and it's put on at Life Action Camp. And Life Action Camp has a lot of different facets. The camp itself is one of the facets. They also have Life Action Ministries that travel around, which if you were here last fall, Life Action was here in November.
September, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we were the first on their trip.
So it's part of that, and Life Action Camp itself is it's just a terrific camp for families of any kind. It's neat to see. Some of it is grandparents with their grandchildren. Some of it is just families made up of all kinds of different
human beings.
Yeah, families. I mean, different age levels. It seemed like this week there were a lot of kids that were 10 and up kids. There's been years that we went and it felt like there were tons of little kids and during different weeks. So there's
just tell us how is it structured for people okay, family camp, what's a day look like in a nutshell?
Camp actually starts on a Monday. We went down on Sunday night, most of the families, and I don't want to touch on too much of Aaron's either, but you can stay in your cabins. Camp looks like there's different activities. They have service, tabernacle service twice a day, which is amazing for the families to get to bond together and really go through some hard stuff together. And they have speakers that you listen to. This week was Brent and Maggie Paulus, and then Shane Black, which Shane Black was here just last week or 2 weeks ago.
Okay, great. Aaron, tell us a little bit about, Jackie talked about the structure. What are some of the activities and amenities there at family camp? It's in Buchanan, Michigan, and it's in a beautiful area, and it's a pretty camp there.
So, am I on? Yeah, okay. I had to write the list. Actually, I had to have Josh write the list while I drove. because there's so much stuff that goes on at this camp that there's no way I could remember it all. So things that I really wanted to touch on with amenities. First and foremost, if you have little kids, I believe it's ages 7 and under, they give you a family assistant. So basically you have a nanny for the week, which is fantastic. I don't know how some of us with little ones could actually enjoy the camp near like we do without the family assistant, because it gives you the freedom to, sit down with your spouse and actually breathe when your kid is running around all over the place, because you've got somebody, and yes, they're a teenager, but for the most part, they're pretty well trained, they know what they're doing, and they're there for one purpose, and that's to help you and your family. The next thing that I wrote down was the art box. I know a lot of our kids really enjoy that. It's a small building that's just full of art supplies, and they can go and they can paint little jewelry boxes or make little wooden crafts, and they bring them home. There is a small charge to those, but every time my kids went, I sent them with like $5, and they had plenty of money and usually brought change back and brought home an armload of goodies every time. So, and actually, to touch on that, that is one of the big things that Life Action is asking for this year is they're raising support because they're going to actually demolish the art box and build a brand new one. And it's actually going to be a 2-story deal where the basement is their new youth center, because they've mentioned that their youth, their 12 to 18 is their fastest growing, largest number of kids that they serve is in that age group. So pretty big project that they're going to undertake there. So next thing I wrote down was the snack shop. And what the snack shop is that's where you actually register when you walk in the door, but they also have hand scooped ice cream every day. Some nights they do it at night too, just depending on the night. There's games and activities in there, pool tables, I think there's an air hockey table, chessboard, stuff like that. Just a place to sit down and unwind. Then as far as activities go, once you walk out of the snack shop, you've got Gaga ball pit, several carpet ball tables. They do tournaments for both of those once a week, split up age groups and that kind of stuff. So the kids have tons of fun with that. This year they had laser tag, they had an escape room, and they had a slip and slide, and they had trap shooting for the dads. If you want to take your kids or your wives, you never know who wants to go do trap shooting. So, yeah, and the huge slip and slide, which is pretty cool. The other big activity, and probably where my family and most of the families I think spent the most of the time, was on the water at the beach. They have a really nice lake with a very well maintained beach. It has all the chairs you could ever need to sit and relax. They have umbrellas that they stick down in the ground unless Shay has to catch one because the wind catches it.
So make sure you bring Shay with you when you
make sure you bring Shay with you, because I called him the farmer ninja, because yeah, that was a pretty quick reaction time there. But he's got experience. They have a blob with a big wooden tower that one person climbs up and gets out on the blob, and then the next person climbs up and jumps on it and catapults you through the air and you land in the lake. It's really, really cool. And let's see, they do have like separate roped off areas. They've got a really nice like shallow end is what I'd call it, where it's roped off so you can feel pretty comfortable. I mean, on me, I don't think it was ever over shin deep before you ever got to the rope. So your little kids can kind of hang out there. There's a big blow up inflatable play thing there. And then there's another area that's roped off beyond that, that's kind of the swimming area. And I would guess maybe at the deepest part of that, it's 6 foot probably. But it's got a big inflatable pyramid with a slide on it. And the kids and the dads sometimes climb up on that and play King of the Mountain, throw each other off. It's really, really cool. So
last thought there, Aaron, one last thing that you have.
No, I think that was the end of it. So.
Yeah, there's like what Aaron said. There's lots and lots of stuff that they do, and it's sometimes every summer is a little different. Just ask some of the kids that have gone to what their favorite things. Well, I wish I could say, "Hey, kids, what's your favorite thing?" But we don't have time. So lots of fun things. They usually have theme parties at night and
Yep.
activities.
I did forget to mention, they also have a boat where they pull an inflatable raft around. You do like tubing behind the boat. Just take a couple laps around the lake, and then they drop you back off and get the next family on so that everybody gets a chance.
And the really cool thing about Life Action is they are always making improvements, like Aaron said about the art box. Every summer you go back, or we have retreats there too. The women are going there in October, and I know that there's some other retreats going on for the dads and
Father-son
yeah.
quest, and then men's momentum.
Yeah, they've really made improvements over the years, and it's cool. Okay, Crystal, bring us home here. Talk about their website, registration. How do you pick the week you're going, or how do you know, hey, are there other families from FBC going that week? Tell us a little more for those who are kind of thinking about it for next year.
Yes, so Jordan and I met at Life Action Camp as single team members, so it's near and dear to our hearts, and this was our 6th year camping as a family there. So the thing about camp is that it's super popular because it's so amazing. So you do need to think about it ahead of time. Right now, for next summer, they told us they were already over like 78% full for summer of 2023. So lifeactioncamp.com, you want to go on. It's very easy. You can see the weeks. There's like 10 weeks of camp, or 12 weeks of camp from the end of May through Labor Day weekend that you can choose to camp through. The speakers are all listed there. And sometimes people are like, what do you mean, Crystal? I have to decide a year ahead of time what week I want to go? And sometimes the answer is yes. And people say, well, how do I know what I'm doing next year? And I'm like, you just pick a week and then you know what you're doing next year. That's how we roll, like you just know. So we're already signed up for 2023. We just pick a week that we think will work for us, and then we just make it work. So if it's something that you want to do, I think that God will honor that, and you can make plans, and then you know what you're going to do that week. For us, there's a variety of different housing options you can stay in. I know the Rickies are going in a couple weeks, and they rented one of the big houses. So there's a few different units. You can rent a big house, which is just a flat rate unit, so that all the Rickies are in that house, regardless of if you have 2 people in it or it's up to 10 people in that unit. And it's about $4,500, and that takes care of all of your meals, all your lodging, all the activities, and you can just put people, if you want to split that unit with other families, or you want to go. We've gone, last year, Jordan and I went with his parents and his adult siblings and their families and kids, and we didn't share a unit, but we all got our own units, but we got to meet up there together. So it's a really good option as well if you're thinking as grandparents or you've got big families to go. We usually stay in one of the more like hotel room type units, and that ends up being around like $2,000 for our family of 4 to be there for the whole week. And again, if you sign up a year in advance, I usually just put us down so we pay about $160 a month. For the next year, we just pay it off, and then when we get there, we don't have any hidden costs. If you just want to pay it, you can, but for us, that's how we usually do it, so we just pay it off a little bit monthly, and then in the end, you're good. So if you just ask people, they'll tell you if they're signed up for a week. There's not a week that the church sponsors. This is the week the church people are going. But we've been to camp when it was just us and we were the only people we knew. And we've been there with Jordan's extended family. We've been there with lots of church family. And it's fun no matter how you do it. So,
Karen, go ahead.
So last year was our first year because Brooke Loving says, hey, Karen, let's do a girls trip and take our kids. And I said, we got a lot of kids. And what are you thinking? Well, I'm going to think on it. And then she sends me the idea of Life Action. And I was like, oh, I could do Life Action without my husband. Because I'd really like to travel with him, but Life Action would be okay. But all I heard from my kids through the week was, I really wish Dad was here. So we went ahead and booked for this year. And let me tell you, I mean, for most of you that have experienced revival here, it's revival all over again, but so much better. whole week with God and our closest people. So if you can take the time to go spend with your families, this is the place to go.
That's great. Now, we do have to kind of move along, but Beth is going to talk about Labor Day weekend. They kind of have a special camp just for over the weekend there.
Hello?
So we were talking about time. We go Labor Day weekend, which again is just a condensed version. So basically, you get there Friday afternoon. The first activity is supper is like 5:30, and then you have your first chapel service after that. Then you've got all day Saturday and Sunday, and then the last event is we finish up with lunch at noon on Monday. And so for those of us, you know, it just works well to have that condensed version. You still all the great things that you got during the week. You get the activities. You don't get the family assistant. We found out that first year because we did it when ZMR was pretty young that first year. But for that time together as a family, and you're starting out the school year, which for a lot of us could be really crazy, and just that time together, that revival that you talked about, and that it's just a really good time. And again, all the activities, all the great food, you still get it that weekend, but just in a condensed version.
And then how far of a drive is that before we wrap her up? Go ahead, Aaron.
I was gonna say it can be about 4 hours, but depending on Chicago traffic.
Yeah, so for us, it was right at 4 hours going up, but it was about 6 coming home. So, yeah, you just never know. Yeah, next year it'll all be different as far as what's under construction, what's not, so I don't have to comment on that.
Okay.
I shut it off.
One last plug. We've mentioned food a couple of times, but that's one of, like, as a mom, one of the best benefits is you don't have to worry about food. Like, 3 meals a day plus snacks throughout, like, different days, and it's all planned. And you just go and eat. You don't have to do dishes. You don't have to plan food. And there's a wide variety so that everybody has something that they will eat, which is great when you have kids.
And they have a little campground. I think the Litweilers took their camper, right? Did you take your camper this year? So they have a nice little, how many spots do they have for that?
They have Jackie and Chase and Josh and Jenny stayed in there.
Yeah.
And then there's 4 of those, I think 6 more camps.
Okay, so lots of different housing. That's all on their website. You got to move on, but thank you so much. Let's give our panel a little golf clap. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then there's a bunch of people who have gone, so you can go ahead and ask them if you have any questions. Okay, my Hidden Acres kiddos, come on up. Don't chicken out on me, or you're going to have to listen to me talk the whole time. Okay. See, nice and brave. DJ, you want to hop up? You can just sit up here with them if you want.
Need a stool?
We'll get you a stool. Any other kiddos wanted to come up that have been? There you go. Okay, so Hidden Acres is about 4 hours away. It is an E-free campground. They're the biggest camp in Iowa. And just like Life Action, they are always making improvements. They're a legit camp. It's amazing. They're a little more expensive, but they have lots and lots and lots and lots of things for the kids, lots of different types of camps during the same week. So the week we usually choose happens to be the biggest week of the summer. Hundreds of campers that go, and depending on the week, it usually starts in June and goes through mid-July. And depending on the week that you go to is the age bracket. So Hidden Acres, the specialty camps, they fill up pretty fast. So they usually, I know Lisa, Jackie, Jen, I don't know if Jenny's in here. When do they usually release the camps? November 1st. So that's usually when these moms are texting me like, okay, what week are we going? So, and that's coming up here in a few months because those specialty camps, they fill up super fast. Usually you can get into residential camp, through the spring, and that's the basic camp. But the basic camp is actually super fun. But like really fast, guys, go ahead and grab a mic. Are these on? Just maybe Miss Karen can kind of help there. Very quickly, just tell us which camp which camp you went to. We went to week 3, so it was the week before Vacation Bible School. We leave on Sunday and we come back on Friday. In the last couple years, we've had so many kids go because it's such an amazing camp that we rented a school bus. So this year, I think we had 35 kids go. Okay, so Ava, really fast, which camp did you sign up for? Saddle Up?
Yeah, Saddle Up.
Okay, and that's the horse camp. Griffin, what'd you sign up for?
I went to residential.
Okay, Lydia?
I also went to horse camp.
Okay.
Me too.
I went to residential.
Okay, when you get a little older, they have some things that you have to be in junior high to do, like airsoft, and one year they had culinary. They have all kinds of different types of specialty camps there. So the church is super generous. They pay for half, and that's right around $400, I think. And so it's about a couple $100 out of pocket for the parent. You register directly through the camp, and then we organize getting the kids to camp. So we had some pictures rolling before. We'll roll those pictures afterward of the camp kids and the different camps that we're talking about today. Okay, so we're just going to take a moment. Karen, tell us, okay, I'm a parent. I'm thinking about sending my babies to camp. Tell us, really quickly, we kind of went 5 over for family camp. So real fast, a parent perspective, sending kids to camp, yay or nay, you love it?
Your children are a little nervous about leaving, and mom and dad are a little nervous, but once they get home, all you hear is the stories of we did this and we did that, and the stories just go on, and they're so excited about it. But it's so nice that they have a Facebook page that they post pictures to very frequently, so frequently that sometimes you're like, wow, there's 76 pictures to look through. But and just to see your kids interacting with other young children, young believers, is awesome. And that they encourage the parents or grandparents, and some do more family, to send a letter for the kids to open every day while they're there. So they get that little bit of love from home while they're there each day. And yeah, I think it's a great experience. A week is a good time, not too long. But yeah, I think it's good.
So Ava, tell us one of your favorite things about camp.
I think my favorite thing might have been chapel.
Chapel? What did you do in chapel?
Basically all that happens is at the beginning there's worship, and then they just blah 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 blah, talk and talk and talk. And then yeah.
Blah 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 blah. You meet God there.
The worship team prays, and then right after that, there's chapel fun time where you play a different game each day.
Oh, fun. Good. So, Griffin, what's one of your favorite things about camp?
I loved the amount of activities that they had. The entire day was planned every day, and there wasn't, the entire day you had activities 24/7.
What was your favorite activity? Because this is your first year going, right?
Yeah.
Can you pick one?
I really liked duels.
Oh.
Sword duels?
It's when there were 4 quads, and they would split off, and 2 of them would play games against each other and compete. And then at the end, in the evening, all the quads would play a big game.
Okay, fun.
What's
Lots
a
of
quad?
group activities.
Is this your camp, your cabin?
No, there was 4 cabins in each quad, and there were 4 of them.
Lydia, favorite thing about camp there?
For me, it was going on the trail rides when I would ride a horse, and I love riding horses because I've never done it before. And I also learned how to trot on a horse,
Oh, nice.
so that's when you make a horse run.
Okay, nice. We think
My
so.
favorite thing is probably the arts and crafts. I love crafts, and yeah.
We think, DJ, you want to share?
There you
My favorite part was when we would go to the beach, and I went on this one ride like 5 times because it was so fun. And it was like a 2 ride, and sometimes I went backwards and sideways. It was fun.
Okay, good. So, how many kids stand up if you've been to Hidden Acres before, even if it wasn't this summer? So, really fast, favorite. Does anybody want to share something fun? Like, Tice, what did you do this?
He says no. He's shaking his head no.
You did airsoft, right? Okay, I would just kind of want to hear the different camps. Grace, you did wilderness? You did saddle up. Did anybody do wilderness?
I didn't do wilderness. The three that I've done were airsoft, residential, which is pretty much just normal. And then 1 year I did science camp, which was really fun.
Oh, fun.
Each day we would have like a science class, and we would like do some experiments, and then we would go do the normal camp stuff.
Okay, anybody else had a different camp? What did you do, Jesse? Residential. So we had lots of kids, lots of ages that have gone. Did you have a favorite part of camp, Jesse?
I liked when we went on the creek walk.
Oh, the creek walk, yeah. Okay, so we do kind of have to speed through so we have time for CIY. That's your part. Are you excited about it?
Yep.
If you, Hidden Acres has a really great website, so if they have all the answers to any question you might have on there. Again, that new information for next year will be released right before Thanksgiving. And right around that time when it's released, we'll start picking that week for next year. You don't have to go the week that the church picks. You can go a different week, and we would still honor that scholarship. So sometimes that does happen. But thank you guys so much for being brave and talking about camp. It's Hidden Acres Camp and Conference Center, Dayton, Iowa. There's a couple different ones out there, so you got to make sure you get the right website. And like Karen said, there is a Facebook page with all the pictures. And any last comment, Karen? Anything? Okay. So thank you. Let's give our panel a little hand clap. Sorry, we're speeding through. Good job, guys. See, painless. Okay, so CIY, we roped in Lucy and Riley. Anybody else went to CIY that wants to hop up here? Okay.
There you go. It's on. Green light. All right, so like we said, Seth took some junior high kids to CIY today, this morning, about 7 this morning, and CIY stands for Christ in Youth. It is basically, it's more like a conference than it is a camp. It is thousands, sometimes, of kids. I think the ones that we've been to, there have been up to 1,000 students there, and it's on a college campus, so the kids stay in a dorm, and they're all over the United States, so you just pick the one that you want to, wherever it's closest and time works out, but they happen all through the summer. So we've gone to Holland, Michigan for our junior high a few times. We've gone to Wheaton, Illinois for our high schoolers, and they went to Bowling Green the last couple of years. Out in Ohio, which I think that was last year is because of COVID, and they had to change some things with the schedule, so they ended up going out there, and that's like an 8-hour drive. But it sounds like they had a really great time, so they went back there again. But it's huge. They do just tons of worship. All the speakers and all the worship is very much in tune with the kids' culture. So junior high or high school, they kind of change it a little bit depending on the age range, but very high energy, very relevant to what the kids are going through. I would say this really quick, just like with family camp and with Hidden Acres, it's always more enjoyable with your group. Like they keep you in your group, but like with Hidden Acres and with family camp, Life Action, it's more enjoyable if you have people that you go with. Trying to go by yourself as just a single family, you can do that, but it's not as easy because people are usually, in their groups. So just as an aside for Hidden Acres or for family camp, you can sign up for those things without going with other church people. But I would encourage you to probably, try to find somebody else, another family or two, to go with, because you'll have a really good time when you do that. What do you guys want to say about CIY?
What I would say is it's really fun and it's a really good learning experience because we learn, like, pretty much every day we would wake up, we would relax in our dorms for a little bit, then we slept in college dorms, which was pretty nice. And they were actually not that bad. And then we went to breakfast. All the meals were pre-made, so that was really nice. And then it's been a while, so I forgot the exact schedule, but we played a lot of activities and games, and we went to the lessons, which were really nice, and we had a lot of fun doing it. We split, each church would be sorted into a team. There were 4 different teams, and we were, last year, we were in the Moose Goose team. That was fun.
Moose Goose, yeah.
And then, so that was the red team, and actually on the last day, before the lesson, they would have a game, and there was one day that there was they announced that their game for that lesson would be a logic puzzle, and they wanted to call on one kid from each team, and I actually got called on because all my friends know I'm pretty good at logic puzzles and not really good at anything else, so so I got called on for that, and in the end I actually won that, but it didn't make too much a difference. Our team got last place as always, but
but you won that competition.
Yes,
So
that was really
awesome.
nice. And the speakers they had were really good. Sometimes they would be live speakers. Sometimes it would be it would be a recorded video, and it was just really nice. They used they had a really big auditorium where they would do the lessons, so that was really nice.
Yep, they would do it in the basketball arena of the college, and there a lot of these are big colleges that they're doing them in, so it's really a pretty major event they put on. Lucy,
Yeah.
what would you have to say to add to that?
Because you've been to both now. You've been to the junior high and high school one.
So I like the sessions a lot, which we did twice a day. And we had a lot of free time, so we got to go to the beach, and we did a scavenger hunt, and that was really fun too. Well, I think that the junior high, might be a little more fun than the senior high, because there's more games and it's a little different. But the senior high was really fun too.
Yeah, I would agree. I've been to both. In the junior high, they really pull out all the stops to make it really interactive. High schoolers a little bit more chill, so they don't want to be so involved in all the games. But they would do this one thing for junior high, and I'll just end with this. But they called it Outer Realm. And so after a session, they'd go outside on their soccer field or football field, whatever they had, and they would have these big, huge games. And you just imagine 1,000 kids all playing a game that they've organized, and it was just a ton of fun. It was just really exciting. But if you have a student that hasn't been to CIY thinking about it, it really is a great week, and I'd encourage you to do that. So. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. And we're going to roll. Yeah, give them a little golf clap. We're going to go ahead and be finished with family talk. There's probably extra donuts if you want another one. And if we can roll those pictures for those who maybe missed them, let us know, the staff know, or anybody that talked up here if you have any questions. But again, all 3 of these places have great websites that you can check that out too. So thank you for coming, and we're just kind of hanging out until church starts. Okay, thanks, guys.